Welcome to ACN, the Liberation TV of Ambazonia. Ambazonia Defense Forces, the vanguards of the Ambazonia War of Independence.
The king of kings with music again on this one. Your boy's Dave. For that target we no be forget you way. Giggle like we no be forget you way. Brother Wabi we no be forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. Petit Alash we no be forget you way. Abdul Bello, we no be forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. Meme Raymond, we no be forget you way. Brother Chop Dough, we no be forget you way. Chamoni, we no say you don't go, we no go forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no go forget you way. Brother Scoopy, we no be forget you way. Grand Joji, we no be forget you way. As I be say you don't go, but I no go forget you way. We no say you don't go, we no be forget you way. But what's in now, take a molo way. Kababelo, take a molo way. Babanjile, Yazila wale. Wazila wale wangonji, over there in control. Wangonza kunyo there in control. Oh, yeah. Bongwena la bakundi ko byala. Bongwembe matamwena la bakundi ko byala. Bonje bo sakuole. Sakuole banjiba bankumba sakuole. Oh basakuole. Meringwete sakuole. Basakuole. Bembuso de bale. Mama de bale. Bemba bien de bale. Ala bakundi ko byala. Oh bin de bale. Ala bakundi ko byala. Petit Alash, we no be forget you, we no go forget you, we no be forget you. Kigola, we no be forget you, we no be forget you, we no go forget you. Brother Wabi, we no be forget you, we no go forget you, we no be forget you. Grand Joji, we no be forget you, we no be forget you, we no go forget you. Meme Raymond, we no be forget you, we no go forget you, we no be forget you. My Abdul Bello, I no go forget you. I no fit forget you. I no go forget you. My brothers and sisters of Kimezun land, we no fit forget you. We have lost great you. We no fit forget you. Great people of our Kimezun land, we no fit forget you. Young men who want to bright future. We no go forget you. Only the handsome girl. He's the final choice. We no fit forget you. To all my brothers in the Northwest and Southwest, we no fit forget you. Accept my condolence. We no fit forget you. God, we no fit forget you. He's the supreme commander. We no go forget you. When he says yes, no man can say. We no forget you. We no go forget you. We no fit forget you. Thank you, Jesus. Sakunyo usako bulwasha. She came and down a bimbo hoyasu. We no go forget you. We no fit forget you. We no go forget you. Shanye she ale wangwe ndama muyase. Hey wangwe mutimi shingela muyase. Oh my brothers, we tears in my eyes. I am crying. We say Jehovah, have mercy, oh have mercy, oh Lord. We no fit forget you. We no fit forget you. We no go forget you. But that again, we no fit forget you. Kick out like we no fit forget you. Brother Wabi, we no fit forget you. We no say you don't go. We no fit forget you. We no say you don't go. We no fit forget you. Pretty Alash, we no fit forget you. Abdul Bello, we no fit forget you. We no say you don't go. We no fit forget you. We no say you don't go. We no fit forget you. We no fit forget you. We no go forget you. We no fit forget you. We no fit forget you. We no fit forget you. We no go forget you.
Una good evening, my fellow Ambazonians. For all who picking them, una good evening. All big papa them, una good evening. For all who big mommy them, who uncle them, who auntie them, una good evening for all man. All one neighbor them. One come this evening for can salute all una. I be una brother Asu, we are the press secretary for the Executive Office for Governing Council of Ambazonia. Today, we get a story. We will talk with the big man, the O2. I'm talking about Boki, the O2. The big man for the Ambazonia Defense Forces, from the War Council of Ambazonia. Today we will get the chance for talk for ye, for get a one-on-one conversation. We will go shidon so talk face to face with the big man for the War Council when I be in charge for lead the Ambazonia Defense Forces for lead the war for Ground Zero. We talk with the big man. Benedict Kwa. When I sabi say Benedict Kwa for a long time, since we did small picking, it did very small with Dr. Ibacho as very small boys. The spirit for revolution don't enter for their heart. They understand from where they young. Say it go take na boxing, it go take na better boxing, it go take na timing and firepower with better gun for make sure say La République du Cameroon come off our land. They be don't start them from a long time ago, about 30 years ago, where they fight the first battle, where they fight La République du Cameroon. Now this, now so Benedict Kwayi and Dr. Ibacho, una sabi, they be the first Ambazonians where they launch war against La République du Cameroon. In all end for day, they be the first people where they get the heart and the courage for find what you go take them. Now them, they go know how for set the trap for scatter Mongo Bridge. They broke them. Where they young. So they get a track record of what it take for win this war, what it take for defeat these people, what it take for liberate the Ambazonian people. So today we get a very special opportunity. So we're going to talk with the big man, the chairman of Ambazonia Defense Forces, about what be the plans, what they want to do, the collaboration will go on for Ground Zero, what be the expectation of the Ambazonian people then, now which kind news, what be the plans, what Ambazonia they need from, how the war they go on. Make it tell we. Ambazonia they be very worried about their war of independence. They never hear from their chairman, we lead the war. Chairman, can't talk for we, can't talk for we. Now we say, chairman, come. Ambazonia the one here for you. Can't tell Ambazonia, wait till it happen. Now what they inside your book, your secret, that book we don't put on. We say that for the all strategies to go come on. So today, we'll go to talk. We'll go to also take questions from Ambazonians. We'll go put number for outside where people go call, ask the chairman question. When I sabi say when we can meet up for here, when we get this kind of opportunity for talk with big man, now time for ask the better question on behalf of the Ambazonian people them. We go ask the question where they for inside what people their heart. So big man, as you come, so prepare yourself. Because the question, it go come on right from what the Ambazonia they think, what they expect them. All right? Come well. So we'll be very happy. Say today, the Ambazonian people, they will get a chance for interact, for communicate, for get story direct from the big man when they lead the war for Ground Zero through the Ambazonia Defense Forces and through the War Council. All right? So we'll be very happy for welcome big man for the War Council, the chairman of Ambazonia Defense Forces, Benedict Kwa. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Piers. Thank you very much. It is always a pleasure to have these conversations with you. Your enthusiasm, your dedication, and your activism is very, very clear for everyone to see. And those are qualities that are of high demand right now. So thank you for having me.
You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you for all that you are doing.
You're most welcome. Would you like to speak in? I want Matt just ask you. You would like to talk with Igbo English, or you would like you be very comfortable for we for talk with Pidgin, because the people then we would like to talk with people them directly. We know say we are first people them of interest. Now Ground Zero. We know they out there for police or Igbo. The first thing now for talk with people them directly. So now you got for choose you be our guest. If you want make a knock them for the Igbo style, you know, say me to a day. We go knock them for Igbo style. But if you be comfortable for Pidgin, we go directly for Pidgin so that all even big mommy for village, if he hear you fine. As the
you see, that is really difficult. As you see, my English, I don't speak perfect English. So in a sense, as I speak as you do. Sometimes it's just the comfortableness in which we address these things, but don't forget, especially as we come here, that there are very direct messages that we need to pass on to those who feel as if the sacrifices that we as Ambazonians are making consequence. So part of my outing today is to speak directly to them. To tell them that Ambazonian lives matter, and to tell them that we are not joking. We are not joking. They might think that we are joking, but we are absolutely serious. If at all they feel that life and death are things pains every community. So our deaths are not insignificant. Our deaths, we are human. We remain human. Our humanity has not been taken from us. But the way some of them act and work and try to outsmart us is to basically tell us that the sacrifices people are making day in, day out don't matter. You can
who get to that?
You know, from the Vatican to the UN, they have to come to a realization that the day the first and most killed was the day that ended any association we ever have with La Republic du Cameroon. That should
We'll
get
get
to
we'll get to those details. So let us. I really want to welcome you for this great interaction that you'll be having with us today. Over the last few weeks, in the month of January, the Ambazonia Defense Forces and our sister forces that are fighting to liberate Ambazonia from Cameroon occupation and to end Cameroon tyranny on our people. They have had a lot of successes on the ground. A lot of battles have been carried out. I think from the statistics we have, I think about 43 Cameroon soldiers have been killed in the month of January alone. I think about two or three armor cars were blown off or destroyed. What is your assessment? Is this what Ambazonia should expect in 2021? Because January was bloody for Cameroon. Is this what Ambazonia should expect for 2021? Is this a change in strategy? Is this something that has changed, that you've taken such a ferocious, brutal approach on the enemy just at the beginning of the year?
Thank you, PS. First of all, permit me to greet our people. Thank you, all of those who are following us today. I send you revolutionary greetings, especially to our forces on the field. You know, as every time that I come out, I always like to reiterate that the sacrifices that you guys are making are sacrifices that we people can never repay. We owe you guys a debt of gratitude that is unlimited. So thank you, every one of you, every single last one of you, for the sacrifices that you have made. Where we are today is an absolute reflection of not just your intelligence, your capabilities, your determination. It is a reflection of your courage. And I cannot be prouder to call myself a citizen of a country that produces such brave and courageous men like you. The People's and Amazonian Defense Forces, from our bases in Uku right down to Victoria, best that the Amazonian people have to offer. Have absolutely no doubt about that. You are the best of us. The PS just asked a question, which is my host, which is the private secretary of the president of the Amazonian Governing Council. And the question centered about the activities of our men and women over the past. Let me begin by saying there was over the last weekend we held a retreat in which we looked at what was done and accomplished last year, and we walked through the plans for this year, walking carefully through various aspects of defense, from intelligence, communication, to the armory, and right on down. And what the question entails comes down to part of what we discussed over that retreat, and that is the armory. We are evolving as a fighting force. The defense of our land is evolving. And the message that this should tell La République du Cameroon is that wars is still to come. we are just ramping up. Last year, we came to you after the Gabu massacre, and we spoke about doing everything to begin crippling their moving death squad in their trucks and tanks and armored personnel carriers that goes into our villages and massacre our people in cold blood, men, women, and children. And we indicated to you that we will be putting bases for the Ambazonian armory, the military armory for our nation. The fruits of that are beginning to tell on the field. That is why just the month of January alone, they have lost more than $1.5 million in equipment based on the action on the field, based on the fact that our capabilities are now, we are able to deploy instruments on the field that can take out these moving genocidal death squads. It's the beginning. I know that we give thanks to the joint action that happened in Bali. We give thanks to what happened at T Junction. We give thanks at what happened in Bengui Road that took out their armored personnel, that sent a message to them that you will not walk our land with a license to kill and be safe. We will get you. And this is a challenge to the world. Because when the Bamenda Brigade swung into action and wiped out scores of them, they could not face our boys on the field. They ran away. And what was their action? They went into meta quarters, picked out youths, executed them in cold blood as revenge. That is the sum of the cowards that we face. In Kumbu, under this month of action, they went in, and when our field commander Rewan battled them, pushed them out, as they pull out, they gunned down 3 civilians in cold blood. Just so, as payment for the death of their death squad members that they were carrying back in their trucks. Ambazonians in Bambala this week, they battle our forces for close to 2 hours. Serious battle. And when pushed out, I don't know if you have seen the video.
In the video,
the video and the pictures. One citizen, unfortunate, since he is insane, hiding in his house, living in a hovel, just managing. They went and took him and executed him in cold blood as payment for the genocides that our forces put down. In Momo, we had 1 civilian this month killed the same exactly after our forces battled them for days. We evacuated part of Pinin during that battle to save our civilians. But those who were not able to be evacuated, they always pick them, not shot as collateral damage. They take our civilians and execute them in cold blood for the defeat they face at the hands of our forces. My fellow
So
Ambazonians,
is this what we are seeing, what we've seen in January and moving to February? Is this a show of a new level of strength within the Ambazonia Defense Forces and the sister forces? Is this a revamp of their capability? What is it? Why are we seeing this sudden surge in assault from Ambazonia Defense Forces and the forces on Cameroon occupational forces?
we are getting better. We are getting sophisticated. We are getting a level of support from certain parts of our community that is helping push the struggle forward. Look, you are involved in a campaign. You are involved in a campaign right now to provide thousands of bullets to our defense forces.
Correct.
Millions of amber had been invested all last year into our armories. Our technology, the harnessing the armory, harnessing the technology of our people is now is now being deployed. As I say, this is the beginning. So the effort, look, the effort of our people, when we come with a plan and put in front of them, we have always shown the results. It might take us 3 months, it might take us 6 months, but our people always see the result. So when we came all last year talking about the armory, we spoke about the stabilization force, the training that was going on. We brought in their equipment, their program, their training, and laid it in front of the Ambazonian people and asked for support for that. The results are coming to bear on the field right now. Also, let me say this, and I want to congratulate everybody who worked very, very hard that TN television get on the air. I want to thank them because there is a new sense of brotherhood between the People's Army, the Ambazonian Defense Forces, and sister forces, because they don't get up every day and are fed a message of hate from CRTV, from ABC TV, every single day without truth also being on air. So you ask about this new sense of our forces seeming to be rallying together. That is it. So actions have consequences. The fact that I am able to speak directly to our people, the fact that you have been on air speaking to them, the fact that they hear Dr. Ayaba and they hear the rest, is changing the perception of not just our forces, but our people as liberation. So all of that is how you see the war, the defense changing and becoming manifestly more effective.
Well, you obviously we've seen a surge in terms of actions from Ambazonia Defense Forces and the sister forces, and we've seen massive casualty on the side of Cameroon. The colonial minister of from La République du Cameroon, Atanganji, went to Ambazonia and declared that Paul Biya has, has won the war.
Mr. Paul Biya declared that he will win the war in 2 days. When did that happen? When did he declare that? So this past month, more than 50 of they have carried in body bags more than 50 and terrorists to their families in La République du Cameroon. When was it that he promised the world that they will crush us like a bug? How many years ago was that?
3 years ago.
So Mr. Antanganji is coming today after they just had the worst disgrace of their lives. I mean, these are people that even in their land, they are in depression today because they thought to show the world a showcase of organizing a tournament. How could any of them even open their mouth, not in shame, embarrassed, so publicly to the world? And any of them can open their mouth and say anything about victory, not hide in shame? Look, Amazonians, if there is nothing you take away, take this. You would have accomplished your goal if you had been the one to open the Cameroon trousers to the world. You would have accomplished your goal, but they did it enough in order to embarrass you, in order to tell the world that they can kill with impunity and dance on your grave by organizing a showcase for the world to come and celebrate at the party of your death.
I actually wanted to ask you about that because I know that you've also promised that that the War Council and the Ambazonia Defense Forces and the sister forces will make sure they disrupt Cameroon plan the hosting of some of those matches in the city of Victoria in Ambazonia. What happened?
What do you think when you get up today, or when you go around Africa, or everybody involved, and you ask them about the turn in Cameroon? What is the image that comes in their mind? It is an image of a bankrupt, and not just bankrupt in terms of development. How do you organize a tournament without lights? Blackouts. But bankrupt in infrastructure, bankrupt in organization, bankrupt in security. I mean, talk about And this is a reflection of some of the countries in Africa and those who took part in the tournament. It's really a sad reflection of some of them. You cannot convince me that all of these countries who decided to play in, to send their young men into Ambazonia to help La République du Cameroon try to present an image of normalcy. You cannot bet me that there were not a lot of bribes involved. Because no person, no country will willingly put their citizens in a war zone. And it was a war zone.
Chairman's screen is frozen. So the technical team, please. I think they'll be bringing back the chairman. So just give us a minute. Just bear with us. I'm in Canada. He's in the United States. And so, the TV people are streaming us, bringing us together virtually with the help of internet. So just bear with us. The chairman they'll bring the chairman back into the studio, and then we'll continue the conversation. There's a lot for me to ask the chairman. We'll open the line for Ambazonians to also ask the chairman critical question that they have in their minds. It's a lot for us to talk about. This is a very serious conversation. There's a lot of things going on the ground. We'll be talking with the chairman about the development coming up for the plans for 11 February and a series of things that are happening within our War of Independence and what is it that the War Council expects and wants or is asking from the Ambazonian public. So there's a lot for us to talk about. So just bear with us, please, as I talk Sheikh No Day. Can give us some music while we wait, please. All right, the chairman will be back soon. We'll bring him back into the studio. Just bear with us. It's a little bit of technical difficulties, please. The studio people can give us a little bit of music and keep the audience and the viewers entertained while we wait for the chairman to be reconnected. Chairman, are you back?
Seems as if I am back. Am I?
I can hear you, but I think there are people in the studio. The chairman is back. We can only hear him. I can't see him. All right. Welcome back, sir.
Yes, sorry for that mix up there. I think I was responding to your question on the fiasco that was La Republique's organization of the tournament, and I cannot be prouder of the joint force, the members of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, and all the forces who made sure that a message was sent to the world that you do organize tournaments in a war zone. And I think today La Republique carry a disgrace that forever in Africa will go down in infamy. You don't take people and you bring them into a war zone. I think that a lot of the players what they were put through, the fortresses of the and hearing the sounds of battles outside. I don't think any of them injured. Cameroon had shake, and I think that is why they are out of the tournament.
We also saw something. We also something. Yeah. Finish what you wanted to say.
Our goal, yes, and our goal was achieved. Instead of being celebrated for organizing a successful tournament, they are being mocked and laughed at. And so let me thank once more all the joint forces who have been in action from Tico to Victoria to Mutengene and Moyoka. We are proud of you. You did your job.
We also saw something we've never seen before. This is the first time where a joint task force was created, was formed, a genuine collaboration between all the forces in Fako and Meme. They came together to disrupt the tournament, and they did remarkable work in terms of to accomplish that. What would you say? What specifically do you do? What specifically did the War Council? What was the new strategy you decided to use to be able to persuade, to influence, to educate, and to be able to bring these forces together for the first time to fulfill a common purpose? And why did it take you so long?
Is how lies are seductive. And maybe this is a lesson that we have to learn. But for us to look at challenging La République du Cameroon, the most important thing was never power. The most important thing was the most precious commodity that we have. And that is our people. That is it. We don't fight and die today for oil or diamonds or that stuff. If you give us that oil and diamond and the land, what good is that to us? Others will enjoy it. Other countries will develop their country with it because we have no citizens. The basic ingredient for the defense of our land as the Ambazonian Defense Forces trained and began the campaign was to defend the people of Ambazonia, period. Because we were being massacred, we were being the defense strategy was put in place to defend the people first, and every bit of our resources went into that. That was not the aim of what you call the interim government. Their aim, do we gain support by whatever means to be the leaders of our people? So while we put every single franc we could muster into buying the protection of our villages, our towns, they put every piece they had into creating means of communication to be talking to our people and parading over the air. We did not have that type of money. Why would I say I am putting a means to communicate to our people when boys are dying on the ground with Dane guns in their hands? Why would I do that? On what earth would I sit down as the chairman of the War Council and say that put 10,000 into communication and tomorrow we will look at changing the Dane guns in the boys' hands when they are dying, putting their lives on the line? And that is why you had even their own brothers listening to SCB TV, and then ABC TV was turning their guns and shooting at them. And that is how critical the ACN TV came, and our people started listening to them, and the boys started listening to them. That is why you could even create that basis of the boys sitting together and saying that, you know what, I have heard these people say they don't have horns in their heads. They are actually making sense, and I can see why. We have been fed this message of tribalism. We have been fed these anti-revolutionary messages concerning these people when these people are really the ones dying for us. It creates the platform that you can say now collaboration can occur, and why you are seeing a lot of this collaboration happening now, because they are happening with people whose scales have fallen off their eyes.
So besides ACN, besides the positive message, besides the message of hope and inspiration from ACN, what else did you do to successfully bring the forces in Fako together?
I don't want to put that all on ACN, because even with that, one of the things that you go to the ground, the messages in our communities that don't fight, the messages are very different from the fighters, because the fighters, they know any ADF camp in any sport acts as an umbrella to a lot of the other sister forces or even adversarial forces, because once ADF clears the zone, that acts as a magnet. These forces come out because they know that they have protection. Now, the ADF, before creating a camp, the AF doesn't create a camp that the camp doesn't defend itself. And when that camp defends itself, these guys know that even they have their Dane guns and they have their one AK, they can be able to have cover under those zones. So they knew that. And some of the times they don't come together. It's just shame that these guys, they are talking to them and they are very vicious. They are able to turn their own against themselves, to be assassinated if the leaders don't follow what they are saying. They will ask somebody behind them that they will say that they will put you a general over this, just take the man out in front of you. That's what they do. So they themselves, they understand that because they have done it to those in front of them. That's why they will not come out publicly and say, right now working together with these people. But one of the other things that is very clear, and I don't take credit for that, and I will not take credit for that. Look, the personality of Dr. Ayaba and me are different somehow. And he has a view and a vision that is able to put his hand out even for people who have beaten that hand. For me, it's very hard. Once beaten, as you say, twice shy. But he understands. He understands his role, and so he plays a lot of part with his messages and everything for collaboration to take place. And a lot of the times, we are also, because we understand that the struggle, we are under-resourced, both in manpower and in equipment and in financing. And so we cannot leave anything to waste. All of our people, all of our fighters are valuable to this fight. And so any that are willing, some of the times we have extended aid in terms of materials, in terms of finances, to put those together. And so once you do that, they tend to look at that, they tend to see who you are and can easily work together. So there is some of that on in the field, that we even give aid to forces that are not Ambazonian defenses. And that also facilitates some of this cooperation that are going on.
And is that, what about the commanders on the ground? How would you be able to measure the success of INFACO, the forces in FACO, the forces in forming, fighting for a common cause, and they achieve some significant victories? How would you replicate this, duplicate this? How can we model this as a model of excellence going forward across the territory, so that it should not only be something that happened only in Fakua Meme just because there was a Nations Cup there? It shouldn't be something because something is special or something is significant somewhere. I think the war itself, it's significant enough to replicate these positive behaviors across the territory. Is this something we should look forward to? Because as we know, 11 February is coming up. The general and some of the top generals and defense groups on the ground, they are working together on a common plan. How can the Ambazonian people be assured from you? Can you promise the Ambazonian people that we will not see a repeat of what happened in Victoria? That this time around we will be determined and committed that 2011, the 11th February of this year, will be disrupted across Ambazonia. Nowhere in Ambazonia should we see La République du Cameroon. Go ahead.
Thanks a lot. I'm sorry if I cut your thought off there. One of the things that, and this is not arrogance, sorry about that. One of the things that I don't need to do is promise the Ambazonian people. The only thing that I need to do is look at our track record.
Okay.
And that's why it pisses me off sometimes when people talk about, the diaspora. Oh, the diaspora. What diaspora? The forces inception has had an open door policy. Go through our history. From the DODs to the contender force. We have done everything in our power at every stage Because as I just repeat to you, we are under-resourced. We are fighting colonial powers. I am not going to sit here and say that we don't need the effort of Ambazonia. And our record has shown that. That at every point in time, we have tried as much as possible to, when we think that the conditions are there, to try to bring people together. We have been beaten, not once, not twice, but we keep doing it. We have our successes, we have our failures. We tried with the contender force. Right now, it is a little localized. But one of the things that I will not do based on the history of what has happened is impose some form of collaboration. The forces will look each other in the eye, and then I pick up the ball from there. Because I impose, they die. I make a mistake, they will die. You bring in an enabler, they will die. So we will be very diligent bring the forces together, but one of the most crippling tool that has been used by La République and the enablers in this struggle, right from the days of Skakuf, have been this idea of a Big Ten collaboration, join as one, fall under this group. And if we had not been smart, the struggle would have been sold long ago. Long ago. But let me put this, let Ambazonians not be too comfortable. Because as we sit here today, we are talking the very great initiative, the backing that the AGOVC and the ADF has given to these joint efforts in terms of finances and materials. Don't sit here today and be comfortable, because the forces against that are vicious and active. There has been an incredible campaign that has been launched against of Dr. Cho Ayaba, the leader of the revolution, against coordinator Wally, Comrade Wally, and others. And all of this, not these guys rear their ugly heads when La République is facing embarrassments and defeat on the field. When they see Ambazonian growing stronger and rallying, that is when you see this sabotage machine swing into action. And you know La République is on when that happens. So look at the Nations Cup. Look at what has happened to them this beginning of the year. And you see why the machine has swung into action in terms of the person of Dr. Ayaba.
I actually wanted to ask you about that, because there's been a barrage of there's been a barrage of attacks on the character of the leader. There's been a barrage of attacks on the character of Mama Wally. Why is this coming at the time when the Ambazonian Defense Forces is not only building a formidable force on the ground, the stabilization force, but there's been such a great success on the ground? Is it because the ADF is becoming more effective than ever before? Is it because the ADF is building a new force? And is it because Ambazonians are coming to the realization that, hey, maybe without this ADF, this thing is gonna crumble, and they are the pillar of the revolution, they are the pillar of the war. I don't know. It's just because the ADF is now helping to unify the forces. What would you explain is the real reason, or is it just because Cameroon has been defeated and they are afraid? They don't want to be publicly be humiliated. Is it some form of a smoke screen for them to protect themselves from the disgrace and the international humiliation? That they are almost trying to turn things around and focus on Dr. Ayaba. How would you explain this?
P.S. Before we go into that, I would like, I don't know if you know, to bring out some of the things, because I really like, I really want, I really came today to speak in part on this issue, because it is serious issue concerning the revolution. It has done enormous damage before. The death of General Ivo, after they had put him under psychological torture with just this type of disinformation campaign. So this is a critical issue that I really want us to take. So, I mean, some of the things that they have said recently about Dr. Ayaba. I think the other day I saw one. They were talking about sacrifice, right? Where it's like he is out there enjoying his life, and while the ADF, the Amazonian Defense Forces, are dying on the bush. That is a scurrilous accusation. That is, one of the important things that has happened in this struggle is the gullibility of our people. The gullibility of our people. The idea that the interim government looks at them as dumb and stupid. And I am sorry if I am being very plain spoken to our people like that. It is because they have shown themselves to be almost dumb and stupid. You don't judge a man by what they say. You judge a person by the content of their character. And that content of their character is shown by the history, the life they have lived. Their lived experiences should tell the person who doesn't live inside you that 1, 2, 3, that's how I make my judgment. But if you make your judgment on how sweet I can talk to you, on how sweet the sound of my voice is, and how much I tell you what you want to hear, what you wish to hear, then I am sorry. You will be considered dumb and stupid and everything they will try to sell to you. Take that aspect. What is the life that Dr. Ayaba has? So let me talk to you about the man. Why, if to help me out, I go with confidence that our people are in safe hands. You know the character of a person by what that person is willing to sacrifice. You don't know it by when things are good, you know it when things are really bad. I was part of the first batch of the University of Buea. For all those who were there, that was a source of pride, not just for ourselves, but our family, that you are students of the first Anglo-Saxon university, quote unquote, Anglo-Saxon university ever in our land. A small quantity out of thousands were recruited, were accepted, gain entrance. So you know that there's a lot of people. It's almost like how to get into Cas Bambili or get into Sacred Heart. That is how entrance into that university was. So do you think people will put that into jeopardy? Especially when there is evidence that you do this, it is going to cost you a place. So let us take a look at this. The character of the man. We were there. I was there. Akwanga Ebenezer was there. Akwanga Ebenezer became the first student. They just put my middle finger up. Sorry about that. Student leader of the university, and then Njoma and the Endeles decided that they had to turn us into primary school children by asking our parents to pay PTA fees. They call it Parents Faculty Association fee. When other students for other universities were being given a monthly allowance. For us, they came and we have to pay PTA fees. And that's where we say, I could not protest as a primary school student. My father gave me PTA fees that I'm going to a government school. It was a school fees. And then we go build a school, pay the fees, which they pay the teacher, and they call it the government school. But sure as heck, as a university student, I can say, hell no. And that is what we said over our dead bodies. We went on strike. Ebenezer was suspended as the student union leader. And that threw cold water over the backs of every single one. We came out, tried to organize a protest of the university to protest the suspension of the student leader. No one had the stomach to come out and protest. After trying to rally the whole school and nobody, do you know what happened? For 1 week sick. Went home. I came back. I was just hearing stories.
Sir, look at excuse me, there's a message on your phone, sir. Someone has sent an important message on your phone. It's urgent.
Okay. So
sorry for the interruption.
It's all right. What I heard was that after trying to rally the students and everybody was afraid, because they were afraid that they would be dismissed from the university and lost their place. Where will they go? I came back, I heard that he failed to rally the student. He just made his placard alone and went him in front of the administrative building. And went in front of the administrative building, sat him on the ground in the middle of the road and held up his placard, protesting alone out of a bodies of thousands. And I asked
is this Dr. Ayaba?
That is the man. Not for himself. Not for his personal gain or his personal collective gain. Against the suspension of the student union leader of the school. He sacrificed his education on the line and his person that day owned thousands of students sitting on the road. Students passing and going to class, looking at him. This is the bravest man they have ever seen. And he is sitting there. And he was suspended. He was suspended. Sent home. And the second part, only during that university, when he was sent home, they planned, after the schools closed, the university closed for the holidays, they went on air over CRTV Boya and announced that the PFA have started, the parent faculty have started, and they have imposed these fees on the students beginning next term. Knowing that the schools have closed, we had no recourse now. That is when I led the strike. I finally came out of my shell. Led the strike to Fosong's place. He was the president of the PFA. And he refused there. He knew me from the SCNC days and all that. So he refused. I was standing on he came in front that he would die before he resigned. And I told him one simple thing. I told him that, look, you stand and you say that you are militating for Ambazonia. Do you know that part of these fees that you guys are collecting is part of keeping us slaves? That this is what has kept our parents in poverty, because they impose this type of things like us, why they give their students allowances and then they impose fees on us, we pay it, and that's how we remain slaves, because that is economic enslavement. That man tore a page from the book, Resign, there like that the PFA fee is illegal. He has resigned from that. We took that, went to CRTV Boya, and they read it over the air. And that's how that stuff. But this is where Dr. Ayaba comes in. Because Fosong went and told the university authorities that Ayaba led that strike, confusing me with him, because we were always together when they saw us together. So they call him. They call him. He went with his brother, his senior brother, and Engele was there telling his senior brother that this man, they suspended him, and this is what this man did. Instead to go and sit quiet, that he would tell his brother to send this man to the army, but he knows that if he sends the man to the army, this man will be dead, because he doesn't get instruction. That this man should be sent to the village and given a cutlass to be cutting grass, because there nobody will oppose him. That is the language and the time. All the time, this man was in Bamenda, following up on the Southern Cameroons Youth League, doing stuff there. And he could simply have just told the registrar of the university and that this is where I was, have the proof of where he was not there.
Is that what inspired you guys to? Is that what inspired you guys to mobilize and for the to take down the Mongo Bridge?
No, no. That is long before that. But that is why I was able to graduate from the university, because he protected by taking the fall there in front of, did not sell me out to say that no, I did not lead this, it was this other person. Even just saying that no, I was in Bamenda, I could not have been at Fosong's place. So is that the person that you will say that allow people to sacrifice for him while he enjoys his life? That's why I ask you that the Ambazonian people don't need to go and listen. You look the content of a person's character. You look at the content of his character. What has this person done? Take for example, coming to Europe. Take for example that being in Europe, how many of them, look, after September 11, everybody, every activist, you want to take an action, your first instinct is, am I going to become a terrorist?
Yeah, that's
How I
true.
protest and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's every instinct after September 11. Being in Europe, quote unquote, you have your life made. I think that you take a portion from then in our land, you would have, especially with the economic catastrophe that these people had visited, the political oppression that was incredible. You for people living elsewhere, that Europe will it, because their life will be immeasurably better than the slavery we are living under. Dr. Ayaba, at a time when more than 75% of the Amazonian people were doing their day to day, at the time when some of these 419 con men in the IG were wearing CPDM uniform and marching on the street, at a time when even European and American activists were afraid because of the September 11. This is the time when this African child, having made it to Europe, decided everything on the line by capturing the Cameroon embassy, putting up the Ambazonia flag. Is this a person afraid to sacrifice his life and enjoying his life? Is that the character of his actions? Look, Amazonian, if they call you dumb by these people who have spent their life created you, I think what was it, the Blue and White Army? What was
Yeah.
the secret that came?
It was the blue. It was Chris Anu and Sako created a whole social media militia called the Blue and White Army in order to assassinate people's character, to blackmail people, blackmail especially Dr. Ayaba. They created a whole army just to do that job.
So if that is their track history, and then today they are recreating that, and is still speculating, and there are still Amazonians behind these people, circulating these messages, creating these messages, working with them, and that is their track record, the history, the content of their character. How do you put that side by side with the content of this other character that I'm telling you about? And you tell me that you want to be free? Look, this is just, I am not talking the time that we, you know,
For the sake
when
of time,
I get
for the sake of time, all right. Let's for the sake of time. I know you have a lot. The two of you share a lot of history. The journey has been very long for both of you. For the sake of time, give us one or two other examples.
Unfortunately, PS, unfortunately or fortunately, a lot of this unfolded in front the eyes of our people. A person willing to capture an embassy and have German anti with high caliber guns and snipers surround that embassy and came for him. A person willing to leave his comfort in Europe and go back and be tapped in Jakiri by La République du Cameroon and escape on his way, being taken to Yaoundé. Not that he for our people and being caught and have to escape. That is the character of the person these con men in the IG are going after and assassinating and assassinating. That is the character of Mama Wally that you see them going after and assassinating. And they are doing all that because we are winning. Because Mama Wally is listening to every Ambazonian who is suffering, whether you have been IG or not. She is the mother of our land. She listens to them. She takes care of them. We are afraid of that now because that is showing the content of the character of what the Ambazonian Governing Council and the ADF stands for. Our people. One, indivisible.
All right. Thank you so much for bringing this clarity and for helping to dispel the doubts and for helping to help our people to understand the type of
Look,
person
man, look,
that
man. In
is.
my last outing, I termed these people con men, thieves. They have been proven to be thieves. Chris Anu, let me repeat it: Chris Anu, Sako, and their gang have been proven thieves and liars. You look at their background. I heard that one was a con artist in La Republique in Cameroon, taking monies from people to facilitate that he will send them out. That's what I heard. I also hear proven in Skakuf and my trip to Boya, the embezzlement, the thievery, the stealing. We have seen the blue and white army. So these are evidence on the table. I'm not talking speculation. This is the content of the character of Mr. Chris Anu, Mr. Sako, and their gangs of thieves and liars. So let me be very plain. Mr. Sako, Mr. Anu, and their gang and G are made up of thieves and liars.
Good. Now let's move to over the last 4 months or so since October 2020, exactly 4 months, exactly 4 months, you've been focused. The leader has been focused on building the stabilization force. Why did you decide to build an elite force within the Ambazonia Defense Forces?
We will be free. And we will be free control of. So far, we have been very successful in the strategies that we have on the ground, and we have been able to battle a force that thought itself invincible, and we have defeated them. In all the skirmishes that are going on now, we keep demonstrating that there is no way in hell they will be able to defeat us. Part of us beginning to show that promise to our people is for them to begin the life of the free Ambazonian.
Okay.
And that occurs when they have the space to exercise their citizenship in terms of voting, in terms of business, in terms of culture. And so they in peace and freedom. And so the stabilization force start creating those spaces. Right now, we have dynamic control of practically our territory. We have that dynamic control. But our people cannot be loud in their activities because that attracts the death squads in terms of armored cars and divisions of La République du Cameroon descending. The station force, together with all of the developments within the armory and the technology and the training that is going on, will be able to now stop these armored trucks in pitch battles before they ever reach some of these change from dynamic control into static control. Static control being that our people are now going to exercise their citizenship in those areas as ambassadors. The stabilization force is also a signal to the international community because we understand some of their fears. That is why from the origin, we set out to create an army, not a militia. We understand the fear of the international community of ungovernable spaces. And so the Ambazonian Defense Forces, the stabilization force, is an answer to them that with the evacuation, the defeat and the evacuation of the forces, the terrorist forces of occupation from La République du Cameroon, a vacuum of ungovernable space will not be left behind. We will be the stabilizer to stabilize that region. So they should not be afraid of that. And so we expect with that their confidence that the Ambazonian people are able to train and deploy their forces and will be able to maintain territorial integrity of their land and not allow it as space for international criminals and terrorists that La République is now doing.
With the trust of the Ambazonian people, with this great support that has come in to be able to provide the materials, and from what you've explained, from what the leader has explained, this is the first phase of that force, the first 100-man squad of that force. When are we looking? When should the Ambazonian people expect the launching of this force? Secondly, what do you expect now? What do you want now? What do you need now in order to be successful at the next few months in terms of to provide materials, to provide the equipment, to take care of the forces, and to launch the stabilization force? What do you need from the Ambazonian people?
There are two things, maybe three. From our people, we need support.
What kind of support?
That support, let me break it down. We need support from our people. We need support from our people on the ground and those in the diaspora. And we need support from our friends in the international community. Now, support from our people on the ground comes in the form of their military for our freedom. Look, in the midst of terror, people stand up. In South America, in South Africa, Soweto, you can call their names. They stood up. Our people need to be able to show that uncompromising commitment. It must come every single one in everything that you do. La République du Cameroonian, a soldier that goes into your villages and burn them should not be able to come and purchase Accra from you. Should not be able to come and purchase a mango or a guava from you. Refuse to sell to genocides and killers of your people. For the market, that is it. Maintain your total disdain of their control in the ghost town. Tighten it. We have the 11th February coming on. Once more, demonstrate to them the fact that we will not, we reject wholeheartedly this foreign imposed day of remembrance. It is a day of disgrace for us because we participated in it without really knowing what we were participating for long. But we have rejected it. And we must have it as a day of shame for the past years in recognizing it. So on that day, every Ambazonian, it is a massive lockdown on the 11th of February. A massive one. We know that Nkambe has been a recalcitrant zone when it comes from this type of manifestation. So I have sent a clear warning to them. And that is why from the 8th to the 12th, Kambe is locked down. In the sense that no car, and let this goes to everybody traveling that road. Nobody traveling that road, no car gets in or out of Kambe from the 8th to the 12th. We will be imposing a shot, and anybody who violates that, any driver, any motorist who violates that has him or herself to blame. So for our territory, we have the 11 and the 11 alone. For Kambe, it is a special 1 week shutdown of getting in or out of that zone. Because
what do you mean? What do you mean in Canberra is just anyone, whoever wants to go to Nkambe should get to Nkambe before the 8th, because on the 8th there will be no movement. There will be no one will be able to get into Nkambe or get out of Nkambe. The roads in or out of Nkambe will be completely closed. Is that true?
That is
the message
true.
Here?
Okay. Yes, one of the genocidaires, one of the chief architects, one of the cheerleaders is Ngala Gerald. He will be going for his celebration. We are waiting for him. So let no vehicle move, because any vehicle moving will be considered as bringing in Galadjera.
Okay.
And those who are going to cheerlead the genocide, to celebrate the burning of villages and the extrajudicial executions that are going on in our land. So we know that they will be bringing them in to come and celebrate into Cambe. That's why Cambe, from the 8th to the 12th, no vehicle moves in or out of there.
Okay. Okay. Now let's get back to the question. You've
Then,
declared there will only be
I
one day
know.
for Ambazonia. All right, there will only be one day.
Yeah.
There will only be one day for Ambazonia. Ambazonia will be on a national lockdown on the 11th of February. Nkambe will be sealed off from the 8th to the 12th. Let's get back to the question I asked you before.
No,
What
that is part
specifically?
of it.
Okay.
That is part of it. As you asked me, the sacrifice from our people, what am I asking for? The support and the sacrifice. So I am moving methodical. So this is just part of it. And for Victoria, we know you have been good. Respect the ghost towns. Respect the ghost towns.
Victoria is behaving itself.
Part of our job, the job that you asked me, was to build the type of army that has been built. This is the time to support it. This is the time. We need every single one. So the campaigns have been running. We have a big five. We have Bui, we have Mezam, we have Momo, we have Fako and Manyo. The big bases of the Ambazonian Defense Forces that will significantly change the ground. This, as my host I demanding, I need 10,000 bullets right now into the hands of the mobilization force alone. Right now. This evening, we have this going in our southern, you will hear it. In our southern command. You don't know that command. But when you get up tomorrow, you hear the job, you will know the job. And you will know that we indicated. That command needs 10,000 granules. I am telling you, Ambazonian, if we do this, if we commit to this, I swear to you, this war ends. We need the cowboys and the cowgirls Ambazonia to stand up. We need those people that the Ambazonian history will point to say that on this day, an Ambazonian stood up behind the scene and told the war council that don't worry. For the next 6 months, I am going to commit 10,000 bullets each month.
Well, I actually wanted to make a correction on what you said, because I took on Comrade Yerima of the IGK for using the word big rubber gun. So you, as the defense chairman, I know this is something we use conversationally, You know, someone has indicated the dev chair should not be saying granite. What is granite? So we won't allow you to say anything granite. It's bullets.
Or
Just
did I say granite? Did I not say bullets?
you said granite. You said also say bullet.
Jesus. Okay. Yes. So we need that commitment. We need to stand up. Stand up and take responsibility. The responsibility is not to go and fight a war. The responsibility is to defend. That you don't get up and you hear that 4 youths have been taken from their. You don't get up and you hear that villagers have been massacred in Moyoka. You don't get up and you hear the same in Moliko, Ambazonia, in Sudan. Individuals, business people stood up and opened their pocket. You know us. You know that when we talk, you support, you see the result. You will see the stabilization force on the march in the coming days. You have seen how deadly the past weeks have been in Amazonia. Those are just test runs of part of the stabilization force and sister forces. They have not totally deployed on the field. But we need you right now. Look, I know that we come to you variously, but I know that I come to you and I know that you give 5,000 bullets here, you give 5 AKs here, you give 2,000 bullets here. We could be satisfied with that. Satisfied with it, knowing that what we have in our hands, we can effectively use the 2,000 bullets. We can effectively use the 5,000. But what I am telling you today is that, Ambazonian, you have the capacity right now in the hands that you have sustained for your men and women to be able to use 100,000 bullets in 1 week. We have that means right now. So if we are unable to deploy that on the field and significantly change the struggle, it will not be because we lack the materials. We lack the guns to use. We have them. We have them. So get down to this basic material that will significantly change the life of our people. The stabilization force is on the ground. We need the bullets to make the noise that significantly change the life of the struggle going forward.
And for anyone who is watching, the dev chair has made a request to the Ambazonian people. You can go directly on ttof.net. You have the option on ttof.net to make a one-time commitment for those bullets. You can do that on your smartphone. You just use your credit card. There's an option there for one-time commitment. I think it's called the emergency. See that there, one-time commitment. You can do that. Go to ttof.net. You can do that. You can also message me. There is a cash app for the Central Treasurer of AGovC, in which it's public. All of you can use that as well. You can message me. We can give you the PayPal option for you to be able to do that. The forces are ready to do the job. We are about 6 days away from 11 February, which is a national mourning day for the Ambazonian people. It will be a lockdown. The forces will be out to carry out strategic operation against the colonial occupier or against the colonial forces. I just wanted to give the platform for the contribution, sir.
Thank you very much for that. People really need it, but I want them to be absolutely optimistic. We are winning. The desperation of La République du Cameroon and their enablers are showing. And you know, look, what was the highest time when La République du Cameroon and the enablers deployed? When it looked as if General Ivo was going to capture Buea. Suddenly, General Ivo was receiving the power that he was receiving was because Atanganji was supplying him weapons. I don't know why they did not arrest Atanganji since General Ivo was almost capturing Buea. Then they would have arrested him. That why did you make this man so strong until you know? That was the time when it was Ayaba that was the middleman in all this transaction between Atanganji and Ivo. That's why Ivo was moving through villages and the thousands were coming out and celebrating their freedom.
Oh, Def Chair.
You are hearing that now, so ask yourself what has changed. It's because we are once more hunting. We have gone hunting. Don't let the hunters come back because they are hungry, because their bullets have run short. The War Council is pleading with the Ambazonian people. If there was a time, it is now. It is pleading for those whose only means is to stand up, stand up. Look, I talked today of General Ivo. I talked today of General Fiango. I talked today of General Fong in Kumbu. We talk of these heroes. We talk of Mami Api, the symbolism of her. We talk of Sam Sawyer, his symbolism. That is how we talk on some of you, not in the field. You can significantly change that. And there are Ambazonians who are able to stand up and be counted. Not in terms of 1,000 bullets, not in terms of 2,000 bullets, in terms of 10,000 bullets. In terms of 20,000 bullets. We have those heroes that can stand up now and be counted. Those that have put down their 1 bullet, their 2 bullets, their 3 bullets are the lifeblood of the struggle. The lifeblood that without them, there will be nothing. Right now, the course of history they have carried us this far. The course of history can be changed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. The course of history can be changed. And we are right there.
All right, sir.
So have no fear. Without that,
we have come to the end of our conversation. We are very grateful. Do you have any closing words, any words of encouragement, any words of hope for Ground Zero, to the forces, and a final appeal to diaspora for a call to action?
Within the next few days, the Supreme General commission, the Supreme General Efang would finally commission the stabilization force on the field. That is going to happen. I am hopeful. Demonstrate that the struggle for our liberation has gone to the next level. If what has happened to La République du Cameroun, that the trucks, one of those trucks cost $500,000 US dollars. The trucks that was destroyed in Bali. And they have lost 3 of them this month in our land. If those have not demonstrated to you that we are at the next level, The commissioning of the forces by the general will show you that truly we are at that level. So I should not be able to shore up your spirit, because the Nations Cup should have done that. The abilities of our boys on the ground should have done that. The information and character assassination of Dr. Ayaba, of Comrade Wally, and the egg of CADF should have done that, because you know that comes always when you are succeeding. But Ambazonians, all of that should just be cherry on your cake, because I know that in you burn the fire of a human being that tells you that you will go to your grave. You will go to your grave before surrendering to people who go into meta quarters. Get out 4 individuals, 4 of your fellow colleagues, not unlike your own child, your own brother, and shoot them in cold blood. That all of these things, the stabilization and all of that, is just cherry on that cake, because in you burn the rage, the rage of a human being, of an Ambazonian who has said that I will go to my grave before I allow genocide and people doing ethnic cleansing to beat me in that. That is the rage in the stomach I expect from 8 million of our people. The rage that you will exercise towards the United Nations, who has kept silent as these crimes are committed day in, day out in our land. And can you believe that instead of sending us human rights rapporteurs, instead of sending us investigators to look at the crime scene of genocide and war crimes, they send us United Nations development agencies to come and do reconstruction. I consider that an act of war against Ambazonia. Because this agency, the development agency, is coming in to wipe out a crime scene. A crime scene that has not yet been investigated. They want to create development projects on it. That is an act of war. And every Amazonian should be so furious, because they think that we are dumb. They think that we look, this moment is going into conclave to try a former president, because they indicated that a crime, they cannot just forget because a crime has been committed. And we have more than 500 villages burned. We have genocide going, and the UN sent us development people. Are they fucking crazy? Pardon my language.
It's a red expression.
Insane? Are they insane? So we will just forget without holding the perpetrators accountable. our people. And we reject that. We reject it. So, my fellow people, I know our hosts, our able hosts, I come here and I go off script and I take you over time. But let me end by saying that I want to thank our forces once more. I want to thank all those who have stood up and are supporting the effort of the Ambazonian Governing Council. I want to thank every single member of that organization for their unflinching support of the forces on the ground. I know we have asked too much from you, but we ask for more. I believe this year, the beginning, the end of La République strategic ownership of our land will come to an end. I say strategic because right now we own it.
Right.
But their strategic ownership will come to an end. Have faith in that. Have absolute faith in that. I want to thank the Supreme General, General Efang, General Cobra, Hassan, Small Peking, No Mercy, Look, soldiers, all of you, all the officers and members of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, the People's Army. I thank you for your sacrifices. You are lions walking our land today. We honor you. We appreciate you. We have faith that you will free our people and defend the vulnerable. Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you very much. My fellow Ambazonians, we want to thank all una plenty. Say una don't take the time for join we. Una don't take the time for listening for the chairman for the War Council of Ambazonia. We now the command the Ambazonia Defense Forces. We want to thank una plenty. We thank all our picking them say today. Una don't she don't a little bit late for listening for the chairman, for all our mommy them and for all our papa them, for all our people them for diaspora. Una don't hear what the chairman don't talk. The Ambazonia Defense Forces, they get plenty gun them. They no want guns. They the one bullet. They talk say all that gun them, not be all them that they go fight La République. Because not be all the bullet they not over plenty where they get them. For carry all the gun them, make all the soldiers they carry that kind gun them, they go fight. So sometimes they need to put plenty soldiers, they may go fight. Because the bullet they not over there for go carry that kind of fight. Now where the chairman don't talk. He say make every Ambazonian for this time so make we teach La République lesson. Make we put pepper for their nyash. Make we put pepper for poor bien. Now yeah, that's what chairman don't talk. So he don't call for every Ambazonian. Make it donate, make it contribute money for bullets. ADF get plenty gun them. Now the one the bullets. Chairman say want thousands and thousands of bullets for all the brigade them. He want make ground zero. Make it hot. Make ground zero hot. So that we make and quick, we move all this La République, they are poison. The poison of evil. Where they don't bring them for our land. For kill our people them. For born villages, born our business them. Make our people then go stay for bush. The more bullets we provide them for the forces as all the generals and commanders for ground zero. They don't come together, say they work together for one Ambazonia. For make this war come to an end and for we for take back our country. And the places all day. When I don't hear from our chairman, you don't ask me all man commit. Go for ttof.net. Go make that commitment for day. If you never ever sign up for TTOF, you get the option for go there, go put your 100 bullets, your 500 bullets. And chairman talks say, an Ambazonia there for outside day. Ambazonia they there for outside. We know some of una. Una be billionaires. Some of una be millionaires. Move 10,000 for your millions. Give 5,000 bullets. Move 20,000 for your millions. For the liberation of homeland. The liberation of homeland are for you too. Now for your family members who they still there for ground zero. Now for your cousins. And for the opportunity where you want go, where you go after the war. The opportunity for you for go invest for Ambazonia. Take only 20,000 out of your millions. Give for the liberation. Take 50,000. Where you carry them for make one party for one weekend. We not talk to me too, I like enjoyment, no. So I not talk to me, you know, enjoy. But I talk to only take 50,000. Call. Send a 50,000 this. When I take and buy 25,000 bullets, it go change ground zero. Take 100,000 out of your 50 million where you get them. Out of your 500 billion where you get them. Take 100,000. Only 100,000. Talk say na 100,000 this. Talk say Dr. Ayaba and the big man for Ambazonia Defense Forces. Una come. I invite una come. Una come for my house. They come. You talk say na $100,000 this. I don't see the work where una did one. I don't see una character. I don't see the army una the builder. From General Ivo to General Efang. I don't see the una promise the stabilization force. In 3 months, Ambazonia give una enough money for buy the guns for 100 soldiers, uniforms and boots. When I don't change the image of Ambazonia, I don't see the work. I don't see una commitment. I see una focus. I see una determination. With all the attacks, that they attack you for morning, they attack you for night, like the public, they pay all kind of people them. All team. You stay focused. You stay focused. You stay focused. From 2016, you start to talk about gun. 2017, you talk say now only gun go free Ambazonia. 2018, you talk say now only guns. 2019, you start to tell Ambazonians. You say, look, for place all day, we need to build a contender force. Bring all the forces them together. For show the world a powerful force. Forces of evil, they attack that plan. They move all kind audio them. You stay focused on the ADF. You stay focused on the ADF. And today, your leadership don't remain the only thing we Ambazonia they get them. When La Republic don't infiltrate and chakara every other thing, your leadership is stand the test of time. For the wisdom, your intelligence, and your smartness, because you understand not only the defense of homeland, how we will liberate Ambazonia, but how the international system they work. And you don't remain the pillar and the rock and of hope for Ambazonia. You talk to Dr. Ayaba. Benedictwa, na the 100,000 this way, una ask for bullets. Una take them, una add them. Una give General Efang. And all these groups that they come together. May they fight. And even if you don't get $100,000, maybe you never reach to that level. But you go reach too. Any man go reach. Every Ambazonian go reach to that level. Or if he donate $100,000. Maybe you never reach to the level if he donate 50. But you fit donate $1,000 for 500 bullets. You fit take off your paycheck for 1 week out of the whole month, you talk say this paycheck now for all and for the bullet, it go now for bullets. If you do one. So even if you get small business or ground zero, take small invest money for that business. Give them for the liberation. Now for your own safety and your own freedom. Or when I get my phone number, I expect when I call. If you contact me for Facebook, one promise. No matter who you be, we always make sure say a lot of people that they make commitment, that they donate, and they no one made their name be outside. We always respect that, we honor that, and we keep that secret. So every day for Ground Zero, we will protect your identity. Even if you didn't have for diaspora, we go protect your identity. You go, if you donate, you remain anonymous. We get a lot of people then, where they put 500 bullets every month, 500 bullets every month, 500 bullets every month. So I wait for a call, I wait for a message. If you contact me on Facebook, if you send me a text message, if you travel for meetup una for any place for this world, if not that kind of meeting I want time. Plan any way you want me to receive the money. We will tell you safe, secure ways for make your contribution for the liberation of homeland. Now they talk this for today. As always, may God bless one. May God keep off, especially while picking them. Papa and mommy, I beg, una take care of our picking them, our future. Una also take care of each other. For our soldier them, who call una cafe. All the forces where they don't come together, we thank una plenty for this spirit of collaboration. We dey out here, we go mobilize for una. We dey out here for support una. Now una hold the key for the future of Ambazonia. May God bless all una. Una get a good night. We love una plenty.
We gon' start with you on top. Champagne, the pepperoni, let's pop. Yeah, can soup and we don't stop. Yeah, we